Thank you, Mr Deputy President. Well, the secret is out. The Hunter and the Central Coast regions of New South Wales are two of the best places to live. As a result, their population is growing, and both regions are expected to have a significant number of new residents call them home over the next 2 decades. As a result, it is important that the New South Wales Government has a clear plan to ensure growth in these areas and that it is managed sensibly and strategically. We need to ensure there is appropriate development to house new residents, whether they move to our region or whether they want to form a household where they grew up. We need to ensure that there are jobs for them when they move in. To manage this growth for the Hunter, we have the Hunter Regional Plan 2036. This plan identifies that by 2036, the Hunter will be home to almost 130,000 more people, which will require 61,500 more jobs and 70,000 additional dwellings. I'm happy to say that in the Hunter, we are on track. 2017 was a big year for the Hunter, with several major infrastructure projects reaching significant milestones. This included the opening of the Newcastle interchange at Wickham, enabling works beginning on the new Maitland Hospital, and construction starting on the Newcastle Light Rail, and construction also starting on 2 new wings at Cessnock Correctional Centre, one of which has already opened just the other week. I was there with the Minister himself. The inaugural Newcastle 500 was also held at the end of the year, and the region can be proud of how successful it was. The city put on a great show, the weather was perfect, and the images broadcast around the world showed what a sensational destination Newcastle truly is. To further boost tourism, the Berejiklian government is creating a new cruise terminal to cater for the influx of ships bringing visitors to the great city. New Space is an iconic building in the city, opened just last year, which was a collaboration between the state and federal governments and the University of Newcastle. Just down the road is the new $90 million courthouse, completed in 2016 by our Liberal National Government. I do feel sorry, Mr Deputy President, for the member for Newcastle, whose electorate office is in the middle of these 2 buildings and adjacent to the new light rail on Hunter Street. It must be hard to find ways to talk down the government's great work in the city. When Labor is in government, they take the region for granted. That's right. All these projects are part of the plan, our plan, to build the infrastructure to support the population growth and create the jobs to make Newcastle thrive. Yeah. It is a similar story on the Central Coast, where we have just released the 2017 monitoring report for the Central Coast Regional Plan 2036. The Central Coast Regional Plan expects that the population of the Central Coast will increase from 339,500 in 2016 to 415,050 people in 2036. To support the population increase of around 75,500, the Central Coast needs around 25,000 new jobs and around 41,500 new dwellings. The government is investing in Gosford CBD with a new Department of Finance building that will house 300 public sector employees. The Gosford Hospital upgrade is nearing its completion, which will include the new campus for the Central Coast Medical School. That is being funded by both the state government and the Commonwealth governments, with help from and advocacy from our local member Lucy Wicks, with the University of Newcastle also on board. This project will transform the city of Gosford into a world-class medical precinct and will drive private investment into our region. Unfortunately, on the Central Coast, we have the situation where Labor want to micromanage development applications on council and blow out approval times. Late last year, in the dead of night, the council passed a measure that would see compliant development applications need just 15 objections needed to be automatically referred to councillors for approval. The move to reduce the number of objections required will mean development applications could take up to 20 days longer to approve. This is due to the length of time required to prepare the report to be considered by council for a decision to be made. To ensure the Central Coast can cater for future population growth, the New South Wales Government has been working hard to assist councils to reduce the time it takes for council to determine the outcome of DAs to within 90% within 40 days. It's a priority of our Premiers, you see, Mr Deputy President. I was very pleased to see Liberal councillors successfully rescind that decision this week and seek community feedback on the policy. I do expect, however, for Labor to double down on their efforts to stymie progress for our region. In my inaugural speech in this place, I pledged to continue the tradition we have in society of aspiring to leave more for those that come after us than we found. It seems the Labor Party do not share such a goal, Mr Deputy President. Thank you.